Hey, good morning, it's Ann at Yarnfolk, and I am here with this week's recap of our blog post and email. I started out with a reminder of what happens here when the weather is terrible, because sometimes the weather is terrible, and it was terrible this week, yesterday particularly. So, we don't close very often. It's happened a handful of times in the past 11 and a half years. But sometimes our hours get affected a little bit, and when that is the case, I try and post in as many places as possible. Google, I update my business hours there. Facebook, Instagram. If I have the shop phone with me, I update the outgoing message. So that's kind of the rundown of what goes on there. We do live in Roslyn, and sometimes it is just squirrely as all get out, even when things seem normal here. So keep that in mind. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen occasionally. So winter here, not a fan. Moving on to our calendar, we have a lot of stuff coming up for the holidays. First thing I'm going to mention is our gnome swap. We did this for the first time last year. We're making it an annual event. You can choose any gnome or elf pattern. You can use any colors you want. This guy has little hands that stick in his pockets. He's so cute. Drop it off or mail it to me by December 11th. I repackage them into surprise packages, and then we do a swap on Saturday, December 14th between 9 and 1. So that is coming up. It's very fun. Holiday decor or just little gnome and elf friends. Details are at yarnfolk.com and in the blog post, and I'll drop a link in the YouTube comments description, I guess. Then on next week's blog post will have details about what we're doing for Plaid Friday and Small Business Saturday. We will be closed on Thanksgiving, and then on Friday and Saturday after, we'll be open both days from 8:30 until 5. That's normal for Friday, and it's opening a little bit earlier and staying a little bit later on Saturday. Then on December 4th, it's Girls' Night Out, and we will have, I know what's going on for all of these things, don't worry, but we'll have the details out soon for that. So that is a Wednesday evening from 5 to 9, and that's one of our really fun events here in downtown Ellensburg. If you are looking for great patterns that you might want to make for gifts or just in general, this time of year is when the Indie Gift Along happens. The Indie Gift Along is an event. It's basically an online knit along. It's hosted on Ravelry in the Indie Gift Along Ravelry group. There's links in the original blog post. Again, I'll drop links in the YouTube description. But one of the things about the gift along is there are prizes that you can win, and they spell out how you can, put yourself forward to win prizes. And then there's also the participating designers generally have a bundle of patterns that they're making available at a discount. The discount is the same for all of the patterns that are included. So, whether you're buying from designer A or designer B, the coupon code at checkout is the same. So even if you're not in the mood to do the whole gift along experience, there are still some great pattern deals right now. So more details on that in the blog post and in the YouTube description. Okay, so a new yarn that arrived in the shop last week is Dream in Color Smooshy Yak. So this is a variation on the Dream in Color Smooshy line. We have long carried Smooshy Cashmere, which is a beautiful yarn. This is another luxury blend. Gorgeous colors. And it is 80% merino, superwash merino, 10% yak, and 10% nylon. So what I did with these guys, these colors, is I put together kits for the Breathe and Hope shawl. We've done this as kits a long time ago. Actually, I think we did them in 2020. This was Casapinka's local yarn store day pattern in 2020. And if you recall, April 2020 was not a time when local yarn store day happened normally. So I mailed out a lot of kits for this, but this has always been one of my favorite samples, and it's one that has always attracted a lot of attention in the shop. And I have a combination that pretty closely replicates what I used here. So this is Black Pearl, and this one is Caroline. And there are other color combos as well. So kits for that includes 2 skeins of the Smooshy Yak plus the pattern. And it's a very relaxing knit. It's a very, very wearable scarf. And that's a cool one. We also received a restock of a number of twice-shirred sheep notions. So the very popular Work Until tapes, that's a marker that has a built-in tape measure. So you can, if you're supposed to work until the piece is 6 inches long, you've got that right there handy to measure with. We have the Snap It cord organizers. Those are new and very handy. And what else did we get? This slap bracelet sock rulers, and there's one other thing that I'm not remembering right now, but those are great tools, fun stocking stuffers, or just get them to use while you're making gifts or things for yourself. They're just very useful, handy tools. Okay, the last thing I have to mention is that I finished the kids besties hoodie. So kind of a very fall oriented pattern. This is the 2 to 4 size. It's pretty generously sized. You can see that the hood is edged with a little fold over ribbing. And the one thing that is not complete here is the I-cord for the drawstring. So I'm still working on that. Otherwise, the sweater is complete. I have a scarf in progress. I still have the Musty Hass sweater, which honestly, the hang up with that, I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes if I have to put something down for a minute to work on something else, the biggest hang up is just getting myself reoriented to where I left off. And once I do that, the rest of that sweater should go pretty quickly. And that's what I'm working on right now. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.